Hit the button, yeah. Perfect. All right, welcome everybody to Logistics Plus Tech Summits Session 2. And I'm actually more excited about this one than the last one, and I'll tell you why. I had the joy of meeting Peter and Viviana for lunch a few weeks back. And just the story, what they're building at Jobox is incredible. They're taking an industry, a home service marketplace, when you get locksmiths and plumbers, electricians, all the other home services that you have. That particular industry has been so dated and so old in terms of their ways, and Jobbox is actually bringing the most innovative solution that I've seen till date to transform it and provide new services. So without further ado, I'm gonna introduce Peter and Viviana from Jobbox. Peter, if you want to share your screen, take it away when you're ready.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, this is exciting. Let's see, get this right. Here we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for joining. We're going to talk through Jobbox, what we do, how we use logistics, how we use locations particularly, which is a pretty rich area for us, and how it's driving our business to succeed. So if we take a look at clicks. There we go. Oops. So I'm Peter Kuykendall. I'm product manager. Viviana will speak after me. She's also a product manager. She focuses on data. I focus on more general stuff. If we take a look at Jobbox as a company, our purpose is to work with home services pros and take all of the business that they have and put it, the information aspects of it, and make it so that they can run their business from their hands. Our marketplace is all of the service industries in as a start. So it's the locksmiths, the plumbers, the roofers, basically everyone who could call to your house or to your office to come and fix something. And as you can see, it's a very large business. So you can think about what we do as there's really two sides to a marketplace that we're creating. One is when you go to like a Yelp or Google Maps or wherever, you call up you see a list of the pros, people who can come to your house and work as you type in, say, plumber. We provide the engine on the back end that actually takes those conversations, the leads, figure out who it should go to. We route it, figure out who's closest, and then we pass it on to the pro who does the work. And so we've got two sides of our business. One is the demand partners. The other is the pros and having the pros do their work. It's both B2B and B2C, so it's kind of B2B2C. But there's a lot of richness within each of those to make both sides succeed. If you look at what the key aspects of the value that we're creating are, the first is that we're taking the leads and we're turning those into job offers for specifically the right pros. It's not any pro. There's people who have the skills, who have the experience, who we know can close the jobs. And we're using ML to maximize that, and locations strongly, but we're using ML to maximize that matching process. Then the pros need to succeed at their job. They need to be efficient. They need to get they need to be able to do their business and have the tools that it takes for them to do it. And it's everything from payment to travel to just an incredibly broad range of task management and all sorts of other activities. So we give the tools to the pros that enable them to do their business effectively and efficiently. And then the last aspect of our value is around the owners and the pros driving their profit. So success in our world isn't just, did the guy get his toilet fixed? It's did the demand partners make more money with us? Do the team owners make more money with us? Do the pros get their job done more quickly or more efficiently, having to worry about less things so that they can be more profitable? So we're giving management tools and control so that people can make the optimal choices as they're managing their business. So if you look, here's some screenshots. These are just various pieces of the app, but you can see that if you just, even at the quickest glance, you can see that mapping and logistics play a key role in our success as the pros getting notified of a job, as we're tracking the transaction throughout this process, even then down to the customer. And we're not showing a customer example, but here's an invoice. So let's talk about the logistics and locations. What's kind of fun about this in some respects is that we've got a tagline, which is Jobox puts your business in your hands. And normally we just think about it like we're making an app, or we're making a service, or we're making things that let the business, let the pros drive their business from their hands. But really, we're focusing here on the puts. So the put is the logistics piece. And Viviana will talk through how all the various ways that we're using logistics within our product work.
Awesome. Thank you, Peter. So yeah, we move to the next one. Right there, we see that when reviewing the Jobox flow from a professional perspective, we will have that it starts with the dispatching the leads first. The pro goes and does the job, and the pro does the work afterwards. But on top of that, we have externally facing UX that goes towards the pro and the customer. That's why you see right there on the top side. And we have some internally mechanisms as well to be able to manage this process really well. So we have our fraud management, team management, operations management, and this holistic view of the marketplace and the flow for the dispatching help us improve our services to all our users. Let's go to the next one. So yeah, right here, that first piece that we saw, dispatch the lead, and let me walk you through how you're going to see this slide. So on the left side, you're going to see different type of location services. You're going to see highlighted in blue those ones that are critical for that piece of the process. And on the right side, you're going to see different insights on how that enables us to do different things. And I will walk you through more on those. So in this case, dispatching the leads, we use locations and nearby requests type of data. So it helps us in identifying what type of professionals are available within different time windows, and also provide personalized recommendations to them based on that information. And personalized recommendations, not just using location data, but our proprietary algorithms for dispatching as well. We have a lot of requests that come as ASAP-related jobs or emergency-related jobs. So it's critical for us to be upfront with the location data to the end user, because they're actually need that, let's say, within 20 to 40 minutes max. They want to have the knowledge. They don't want to go and cause extra communication between the users. And once we go and do the job, like the pro goes and does the job, then we have, can you move to the next one, Peter? Thank you. So on this one, yeah, we have this piece of order tracking and geotag tracking. So how can we provide better on-time notifications to the end customer when that professional is likely to arrive? How can we enhance that dispatching follow-up process to provide that on-time information, not just to that end customer, but also to the team owner, to the professional itself, and reduce all that overhead in communication that happens if you don't have these capabilities. When the pro does the work, we have these other services like dashboards, geotag tracking, and then it's gathering this additional information that can help us not just for this job, but for upcoming jobs in the marketplace. So if you think about it, we have this piece of analyzing service time information. We know how long it usually takes to do this specific type of jobs. So based on that, we can provide better recommendations to them. Right there, we know that you are likely to finish this job within the next 10 minutes. So I know, or the algorithm knows, that we can send you a new job because there is more likelihood that you will be accepting and engaging with that job and completing the job than if I send you a job and you're just right at the beginning of the process. So, and enables also sharing that performance related information with different supply partners, demand partners. So how can they improve their processes as well? And the internal operation is not just about the initial insight when you have that job happening, but all the aggregated insights into how to improve the operation and take it to the next level. If we go into the fraud management piece of it, so we don't communicate that much. Our fraud algorithm is outside the company, but we are going to give you kind of high level overview of what this is. So location by itself is not a strong predictor of fraud. but it could be because it could lead to errors just when you send it by itself. But like when you combine it with other microservices from internal information that we have, it can be a very good predictor for it. And it's more like that integration of the other microservices that can help us identify potential bad actors. And then the right type of follow-up happens from our operational team on these cases. And the team management side. So right here is when we talk about like we have all these businesses, small businesses of supply professionals, and how can we help them better have information about their team, oversee their team, look at service quality of their team on what they are doing. So taking care of the actual business, and for us as Jobox, taking care of the dispatching process because we are really good at it. So they can actually go and focus on the critical activities to be able to grow that business. So they don't dedicate to just having 5, 10 professionals, but they can go to hundreds of professionals within the network and have the right type of hierarchy within their business to go and have like that best in class customer service within the ecosystem. So you will have insights like, okay, like it usually takes, say, 25 minutes to do this type of activities. We see like these type of professionals are having different times around that. So like probably outliers of 40 minutes. And so we give them the tools and tell them, hey, what are the actionable things that you could do to improve that? What type of training will they require? So at the end, it's more about like, what are those actionable insights that we can provide to them to improve their operation? And if we move next, so like we talked about at the beginning, we have this pro and customer user interface. So pros can easily get and identify maps, routes, and directions. So it's customer and user information that is quick to analyze and helps on reducing overhead communication. That is super critical because let's say if you're in an emergency related job, you don't want to be driving and at the same time texting, or like have a lot of people calling you related to that job. Like they have the on-time information right there. There is no need for that extra burden on the customer or on the supply side. And if we go into our underlying operation, it will be like that operations management piece. Can you move to the next one, Peter? Thank you. So it's just about like the holistic integration of all these pieces. So we have locations data, we got order tracking data, we got dashboards. At the end, we have an internal operations team that should be dedicated just to the right set of job offers that are at risk. So that identification at risk cases in terms of job offers is something that is enabled by this location data. So we have the integration of this location data with order tracking dashboards and enable that back office on dispatching follow-up processes. Metadata filters can help them also focus on the right type of regions. So if it improves operational performance, they are not just going and looking at all the US or all the different locations that we serve. It's just like those specific ones where they actually need to focus. And it also provides a single source of truth for claim management. So if claims happen and we have tracked those type of orders, then is that source of truth to be able to help the customer or the supply on that process. Anything that you would like to add that, Peter?
No, that's great. Thanks, Viviana.
Thank you.
And that's the presentation. Thank you very much, everyone. We're open for questions if you'd like to ask. There's a chat Q&A through.
Yeah, I think that someone is asking for the recording and slides. I think that you will have it.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we'll definitely have the recording. Thanks a lot, Peter and Viviana. We're going to open it up for questions now. I have a question here in terms of the tech that you have built out. How long, how easy or how difficult was it to build this out, the marketplace tech? And did you look at different approaches of building it out? Did you look at building it yourself from scratch, using Google Maps or Mapbox or another type of APIs and cloud and kind of building and do it yourself? Kind of describe the process, if you would. That's really the crux of the question.
Sure. Viviana may have a slightly different perspective, but
And then another question here is, to put the context, is what is the job? When you say job, what is the job in this use case, right? If you can describe the job like locksmith or others, maybe
Yeah.
describe the marketplace a little bit more and how exactly it happens, right? Somebody places a locksmith request and what happens next?
Perfect.
To
Okay.
describe that.
I'll take why don't I start with the background, since that's to give the context first. So from our perspective, a job, there's actually gradations of the easy term is job, but there's gradations of it. A lead comes in our front door and we offer it to we figure out what it is, and then we offer it to a group of people, professionals who can do the work. Once it transitions, so that's a job offer. And then once it transitions from there, that's a job when someone actually accepts it and says, okay, I'm going to drive and go do the work. So I've kind of simplified, but that's what we're calling a job.
So it's like somebody locked out of their house or needs to change their locks. They'll place an order, and then that becomes a job that a professional picks up. Got it.
Yeah. You'll see. It's funny because different people, like people will call, like people. The loose way to say is that everything is a job from the original request on through. It gets more granular, where it's, from our perspective, the job is just the guy doing the work. But that's so that we can differentiate different stages of our pipeline. But yeah, you can think of a job as someone's needing something to get done, and then someone goes and does it. So that's for the background. Was this easy to build? No, it's not easy to build. Like anything tech, it takes forever, and you have to be very focused and make sure that you're addressing the right problem. And what we ended up partnering with Hypertrack on the locations aspect, just for time to market, because we need to focus on our core business, and this is important and critical to us. But we needed to stay kind of out of the weeds of, does the guy have his phone on, and does he have locations on, and like all of the mechanics of doing geo coordinates and that kind of thing, so that we could focus on assembling the pieces so that the business can succeed as a business. And it's really just time to market for us. It's really a focus on where do we provide the most value. Our value is in the assembly and the stitching together of all of these different pieces, everything from the accounting to the finance to the payments to the task management to the location, all come together, and that's the heart of our value. And so we work. It's a fairly complicated world, and there's a whole lot of choices, and so we have to choose to focus on just driving the value through making the right choices and focusing our everyone's got scarce engineering resources. And so it's just making the right choices for where we focus.
Thank you for that, Peter. Viviana, do you want to add anything from what Peter said?
I think that was a great summary on Peter's side. I think that we have another question though from Tyler. I see
we do. Yeah, we do. Yeah, which is with real-time location tracking of pros. Is there a concern on safety about professionals, right? The home service professionals, the locksmiths, the roofers. Is this generally a low risk versus larger carriers using real-time type data? You want to answer that, Viviana?
So yeah, on that one, it's more about like using the real-time data in the right type of cases. So you won't use it for every type of job. Like you won't go and use it for an schedule related job. It's more like those ASAP emergency related jobs where you can actually provide an add-on, an insight to the customer or to the professional what is helpful. And it should be just within that specific time frame that is helpful. Like if we go outside of that, it will use more like geofence type of tracking and geo tracking, that it doesn't use the active location of the person all the time, but more like being able to know when they arrive to the location to improve the insights on it.
Perfect. Sounds good. There's another question. We have a lot of we have about 50 or so companies here, companies like Angie, TaskRabbit, and a host of others. The question for the Jobox team was, what is unique about the platform in terms of the functionality you have now and what you're building, if anything you want to share. with his companies. Many of these are in home services area, similar to the partners that you're already working with, Jobox.
So a lot of the companies in the home services area have focused on the relationship with the customers, making an incredible website, doing all the marketing and campaign to bring the jobs, bring the requests or the needs from customers to them. We've taken a different path. We've figured that that's a great market. And the pros and the teams and the people who actually do the delivery of the service is another great market. And they're married together and they're tightly related, but they are different markets. And so by putting our focus on the difficult, like it's the logistics are actually very, very difficult to get right. And it's complicated because the professionals' business models vary widely. You know, is this a company that has one guy who takes the job and he goes and takes the lead and he makes the phone call himself? Or is it, and then goes and drives and does the work? Or is it a company where you've got an answering service and then you've got a guy who drives out to give the quote, and then you've got a guy who does the work, maybe you have someone else who does the collection, or you have 5 guys who go do the work and they all have to get notification that they're there on the same day. It's not that part of actually making the pro team succeed is not trivial, and it's not in the scope traditionally from what we've seen of the big companies who are focused on the making sure that the consumers have a great experience. So the consumers have to have a great experience and the pros have to have a great experience, and we're focusing tightly on the pros. A pro team, there's a question, what's a pro team? Think of like you're needing to get your house painted and 5 guys show up maybe the owner of the painting company gives you a call and he's like, yeah, you've got 5 rooms that you want to paint. It's going to be $2,000. And then our crew can get there in a week or 2 weeks. And so you schedule a time, and then 2 weeks later, a team comes by, pros who do the actual work. And maybe there's a kind of a wide variety of skills. And then those guys, and they have different tasks to do. One guy goes and buys the paint. One guy goes and, 3 guys show up. A guy comes and does the management of that team. So it's a fairly complicated world.
Incredible. Okay, we have 300 plus people, 200 on Feedloop, 100 plus here. 2 more questions, Peter and Viviana. With regards to the skills of the professionals, how is Jobox looking at skills vetting to qualify for various type of work?
So yeah, I can answer that one. So on that front, like we have different set of professionals, like different set of occupations. So those will have licenses, say within the US market. So we ask for licenses, information. The other piece of it is just like we go and study truly what is needed to actually qualify a lead for that specific occupation and for the combination of decision criteria for that occupation. So that is why it's so important for us to do a really good job on the parsing of that lead, so we can have a good matching and increase the likelihood of engagement from the professional with that lead as well.
Wonderful. Thank you, Viviana. One more question here. First of all, a comment from an attendee, great product, congratulations. What kind of fraud scenarios are predicted, and are you accounting for those as a part of the product now or in the future?
Just to kind of, so I should start off, as a matter of course, we do not talk about our fraud solutions. This is something that is, there are very specific types of fraud that people attempt to do, and there are very specific solutions that we use to address each of them. I will say that there are certain types of fraud where location plays an important role in it, and we do use location to figure out, and some of the location tools to understand when people are attempting to do fraud that way. I'm sorry that we can't get into details though.
No problem at all. Thank you for that clarity. What's your advice? We have about a couple of minutes left, and then we start with the FlexWork roundtable. So stay tuned with us today for this, because on the Feedloop portal, we'll have FlexWork roundtable going live in about 2 minutes. what's your advice for people who are building out their own logistics tech, who are looking at it? We have 350 people live here. We'll have another 300, 400 joining, streaming this, and overall 1,650 actually are registered for the summit. So they'll stream it live. They'll stream it at some point in time. What's your advice for them, for logistic tech builders?
You can build anything you want. All it takes is money and time, but we're short on those things. So focus on where the business value is. If there's a number of great location tools and tool sets on the market, leverage them. Create unique value for yourself and for your business. That's where you succeed, is when you create things that are unique.
Wonderful. Viviana?
Yeah, from my front, I would say like it's more about like providing those actionable insights to any of your users. So it's not just about like, what is this thing that can help your team internally, but like actionable insights for any user. You're actually having a value add-on proposition for them. They are not going to stay and stick with the product that you're building if you don't do that. And at the end, like location services are something really important within the logistics ecosystem. And how do you minimize the time that they spend or manual labor related activities to help improve that process?
Thank you, Viviana. I will make that the last word today for the case study. Stay with us for the next session that's starting in Feedloop in a minute. It's called Flexwork Roundtable, where Jobox will be joined by Gigable. Kaushik Pendurthi, Jobox CTO, Chief Technology Officer and founder, would join a conversation with Connor Lyons from Gigable, all the way from Ireland. And we have Chris Primusberger, ZDNet contributing editor, running a roundtable with them. It's a fantastic session. Do not miss it. Please join us live in a minute on the Feedloop portal, or join us, stream it at your convenience later. You definitely don't want to miss that, because it's packed with advice for people like you, just like Peter's and Viviana's was for people who are looking at Flexwork as a category. Thanks a lot, Peter and Viviana. It's wonderful to have you here, and it's great to be at Logistics Plus Tech Summit with all of you. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Gaurav.
Thank you, Gaurav.
Bye.
Bye.